Hi, it's Joanne. Today I'm going to be watching The Wilds, Season 2, Episode 3, Day 14/36. That was it, right? I'm losing my mind with these. Day 36/14. I got the numbers right. I am so excited to jump back in to see more of the boys' story, more of our girls' story, and to see if we get any more of what Leah's new deal is going to lead to. So yes, a reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go. He is not well. Did they know when they sent him here? Holy shit, what was that?
Anybody hear that? I'm not sure.
I heard a growl.
Bo heard something? We heard something.
I like that he sticks up for his friend. That does not sound good.
Please tell me we all just imagine.
Death will come for us. Be it like carnivore.
Cheery,
disease,
cheery.
Fates unknown. Death will.
Yes, old age. Thank you.
Not now. Sorry, but it's true. Just
This
for
is
us.
just
Henry,
what you need to hear.
Not now.
Like, I know that's kind of how Henry copes, but, like, right now these people are spiraling. The last thing we need is more reminders that we're definitely going to die.
The wind and the rain and the winter squalls will be found with barnacles on.
Holy fuck.
What in the ever-loving fuck was that?
They've actually left them on a place with wild animals?
Nobody move.
If you run, it'll chase you. Jesus Christ, they're just babies. Oh god. Okay, if we're running, we all have to go. I mean, maybe running. Oh, the water. No, that is smart. Oceans are a possibility, but the water is smart. Jesus fracking Christ. I was thinking, like, if you just had to run along the beach, it would catch you, but no, the water's a good...
More or less, most unhinged subject of all of them manages to strong arm us.
Yeah, the one you made unhinged.
Wait. I could sub in while you sort around.
Oh, Witch, do you want to get your hands dirty?
That's a huge breach of procedure.
Then let's change the procedure, shall we?
Oh, exactly. Change the procedure. But for just when it benefits you.
Besides, you two have logged. There.
Oh, that's all better now, thank you.
You suck at this. Excuse me? Hey, is she a rookie? A lawyer? For me? Because that's what I'd like right now.
I get where your head's at.
I'm sorry, my love, there is no
You have every reason in the world to mistrust
civil rights happening here. This is an entire breach of your human rights.
I sure as hell, but I was just saying some true things. Hoping maybe you'll do the same.
Like, this guy actually does seem like he cares. Some of the things he's talking about. Like, some of the times we've seen him talking with the kids, talking outside of the kids, he does care about them. But how can anyone claim to care about them and work for this organization and this experiment?
A monster lives in our backyard. Will be found with bite marks on our nards.
Henry, Jesus, can you not?
It's how he copes. Everyone's coping in their own way, but his way does decope people a bit.
Seriously, though.
Jesus.
What was that thing?
The girls didn't have any actual predators on their island either, which yet again makes it very... Like, they were worried. They heard, like, howling and stuff. That I remember. But at no point, unless I'm totally misremembering, did anything come close to them. So yet again, the boys are having a different experience. You can't compare these two trips in an equal way.
I get to make my bed again, which I've really been missing. You know, just that sense of accomplishment. And no, Tony, the house
Shelby.
back home did not make my bed like...
I mean, I'm not really on either side. Like, sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't.
Okay, that's actually fucked up.
I'll help make the bed. It's like, you know, a betrayal of everything that I've ever believed. So.
True love right there.
Tony! Oh my god, that could have hit you!
Fucking hell.
Killed you. I'm good. It was just a close call.
If she hadn't got up right then, they would have another dead child on their hands. And they kept the experiment going. I want to get my hands on these people and lock them up.
Free range, non-GMO turkey.
I get that you're looking out for each other, but this is an environment where we have to pull together.
Hey, look.
I get it.
Hopefully we get rescued. Or maybe we'll hit another...
They've lived very different life experiences
now,
to
we
you,
have
but...
to make our own fucking safety net. Just just like we've always done.
This is an environment where survival means pulling together, which the girls did.
Maybe you just have that resting, judgy face.
She does. The thing is, this experiment is biased from the start because she's going into it wanting to prove that the girls were wonderful and all pulled together and that the boys were little demon men. And, like, you know, and as much as I'm a feminist, I've probably jokingly said the world would be better if it was run by women. But as I've talked about many times, it's the patriarchy we need to smash. These little boys are not the problem.
To get a fair shot in this world, some people have to cheat.
It is true that the world is rigged, that there are people just who do not get the chances, and that other people are born with privilege that others don't get to. And
I was excited till different times I thought shit was spotless, and he still went ape shit.
My bad.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
go to the page I'm are reinvesting. Look, hear me out on this.
Fighting to try and make themselves a better future.
My parents are going out of town for a church trip next Saturday.
God, it would be a church parent that treats their kid like shit.
Maybe.
It's fighting for their own futures. Oh. No one should live like this.
Jesus. Look at your face. Just gonna get water. Okay, I'm not off to war.
It's normal to be jumpy because they're on a heightened state of unease as it is, and they've kind of started to settle into what the situation is. They've kind of started to calm themselves down a bit, or find it normal, as weird as that is. And then this happens.
I'm gonna bamboo to patch up the platform. Try to stay industrious. What's that old saying? Idle hands. Devil's work.
I mean, at least they're seeming more productive and together.
And are.
My God, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why am I acting like a fucking hall monitor?
Because you care.
You just care is all.
You know, it's disgusting. Like sacrifice a virgin. I'm obviously not a candidate.
So you're saying I would be?
No, I was being funny.
Whatever.
Oh,
Martha,
her
I didn't mean-
trauma.
To break it to you, babe, but you're not a ninja. Okay, you're like 6'10" and you have
What is their
just
backstory?
eye-catching hair. The crew type of guy, but hell.
I mean, at this point he actually does need help, but when you have such a perception of someone, you can't see anything else.
Like you're so fucking superior. Like you've always got the moral.
Well, yeah, but a lot of the time
The
You-
ledge, the upper ledge.
The moral high ground.
you do give people the moral high ground with a lot of the shit you say, my friend.
Tip of your tongue because you think you live there 24/7, but you don't, man.
What is... Because he often acts like he's done something that wronged him, which is the interesting... Yeah. Like, whatever this is alluding to, it's interesting. And the fact that Obnoxious Jock Boy was picked to come on this thing does suggest that he's been through some stuff, that, like, he's not the everything's picture perfect jock that he's acting like, because they wouldn't have picked him, because they picked all the troubled girls, so they'd pick all the troubled boys too.
We're all scared. We're all low. We can't have your Death Lord shtick just dragging us even lower.
He does have a point, but I do think it's kind of how he copes as well.
You know what I wonder about a lot?
Does she actually like that you call her mom? Does she just allow it out of pity?
Fuck. What is the backstory?
Because your own mom didn't want to be one?
Fuck, that's low.
Or at least not one to you.
That is brutal. Oh god. Yeah, that was inevitable. Like, I've had my doubts about him, Seth. Like, I do think he is... There's something about him that he seems too good and nice a lot of the time. He's obviously about to show a different side to himself. But that was low. I need to know the backstory of all these characters, because then I'd know, like, who I was siding with more. But this is the last thing we need. I get the response, but it's not a healthy one either. Fuck. Yes, there is a dark side to this boy. Because this is not a normal response to even to someone being really dickish and insulting. Fucking hell. He gets angry and just loses control, doesn't he? Fuck. Because he does look ashamed, it doesn't make it okay.
Are you out of your mind? Are you
Yes.
gonna fucking kill me?
Yes, he is.
No, Henry. The opposite.
See what? A psychotic at work?
See how badly you want to fucking live.
That's a smart way of trying to cover up why he did that.
I look to it.
That isn't true. He did that out of rage and anger. He lost control of himself in that anger. And now he feels bad about it, and so he's come up with a smart alecky way of trying to be like, I did it to help you because now you see you want to live, so you can stop being so morbid.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't want to be the bad guy, which is a human response.
I'm so fucking sorry.
I'm sorry too. For what I said.
Yeah, you should be.
And for the welts.
For the welt. The welt were deserved. But for what he said,
We're family.
that was low.
Is forced.
Scotty, I said nothing that crumbs.
Yo, relax.
You know why he's not relaxed. Kids should be able to borrow their parents' car and go on weird road trips. I mean, maybe not. I don't know how far they're actually travelling where they live, but and a bit of mess happens. Bless them.
If you're holding on to something and you're sick of being alone with it,
Was she worried that Tony would tell Shelby about that? Is that what she... last episode?
Everything about it terrifies me.
Yeah,
Of course it does.
I guess I've been kind of lucky. I know that there's a dark side out there. And if it came for you, I'm really fucking sorry.
She can sense it.
96 badges. We'll be here.
See, if he's a decent guy and he's a decent guy, I would like them to be brothers, but he has anger issues and something off about him for sure.
I feel like I still smell food.
I bet it's me.
Fuck.
I can't do this, man. Look, I'm putting it back.
Don't, yo, put the brakes on, bro. You can't just bury it somewhere or something. That kind of mentality is how you end up really fucking disappointed in people.
But it also opens you up to seeing the best in people. We need the two that start closest together often end up. But you need to trust in the group and the team for survival in this sort of environment. Oh shit.
No! What the hell are you doing?
Oh, sweetheart. And then he had the bruise, didn't he? Someone, a different adult in his life, should have done something. Accidents happen. One time when I was about his age, I started running the bath and then I went to check something on my computer and then my mum called up and she was like, Joy, did you stop the bath? And I had not stopped the bath and I had flooded the bathroom and it went through to the ceiling. We had to get that repaired. My mum was like, obviously not happy, but she was not cross with me. She was just like, do not do that again. What were you thinking? You know, like it was an accident. She knew it wasn't done on purpose.
Stop. You've been like this all day. What the hell's wrong with you?
She's scared.
I'm just suggesting a few safety measures is all.
She got scared.
A tree.
Keeps almost taking you away from me, and
It was seconds away. They are the only like happy point of this show. If this show ruins them or hurts them, they just deserve all the happiness. Because you know, the way the girls stick together and their family unit is the other like high point of the show. But these two are just pure perfection. And like, I'm very stressed because it's the beginning of the season and they're too happy. She's gonna take it back for herself. Just let them stay this peaceful, please. No more trees on their heads, or near their heads.
This is son. This is like a bigger town.
Oh.
It's my turn.
They're being kids together.
Homophobic. Butt munch? Butt munch isn't homophobic.
I don't think he meant it homophobically.
In homophobia. No, yeah, you totally could have gotten the clap from a guy or someone residing
Fucking
elsewhere on the gender
hell.
spectrum.
You and your fucking lips are sealed.
Like, I don't think he meant anything homophobic by the comment. I think it is one of those things that is rooted in homophobia, and we should defer to people who are gay when they say that's homophobic, you're like, oh fuck, I'm sorry. But I do think that it's just their past, that like they were having this light, playful moment, and it probably was one of those times where you just kind of be like, maybe don't use that, but I don't know. It's important to call people out when they say things like that, but it's also like, they just hate each other so much, and there is something here. We had a good mood for like 5 minutes. Seconds, even.
I'm on her butt.
She asked me to do it, so I dove right in. Nose first. You know, I
He's
would
actually been alright. I mean,
said
okay,
that I wouldn't
other than psychotic drowning episode, he's been alright
do
this
it again.
episode. Vibe-wise. Which says...
Forgive me for putting the food back. I really think you will.
Jesus fuck. Okay. Can you get to the ocean? Oh shit. Can they get into the ocean? Oh my god, but... Oh, bless them. Fuck.
It's working.
They all care. None of them are actually horrible people. They're all just scared kids who act the way society taught them to be. Jesus Christ. They're all just scared kids.
Attention.
Are you seriously telling me that at no point could the evil island monitors have got rid of the creature that is harming the children, risking the children?
Please, please.
What, Rachel?
No lip. Practice it for 2 hours.
It was more like 3. Rachel got really intense.
Let's just do this.
Bless them, I love them.
Alabama, Arkansas, I do love my ma and pa, not the way that I do love.
I did not recognise the song, but I'm glad they're singing it now. They deserve this. This will be great evidence for her report on how the girls do so wonderfully. They're not just scared, traumatised kids making the best out of a terrible situation that they should not be in. Bless them. This is going too well, I'm stressed. I love them so much. They're doing too well as a unit. Something has to go wrong. Is the fire going out?
You know how... And then it finally comes.
Holy shit.
But it's like... It's not right.
Holy shit, because she's happier here.
Wrong time.
Shelby.
Wrong way.
My love, you need to do it. She's gonna blame herself when it doesn't see it, right? But you're all human. That girl's gonna eat her. So is that the people, like, trying to see whether she'd try and signal for help? Or was that genuinely somebody passing by, a bit like the pilot that they would just pay off or explain off?
They came through.
They did.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
There's people, on the whole, at their core, are good.
Sorry, Bo.
And I do believe that. I just think
Tell you that enough. Yeah, don't be.
the bad people make the biggest impression sometimes.
Yeah, but...
Or don't say he did bring some food. If he did, I understand why. Because he's so hardwired into trying to survive. Does he blame himself for his Bo's injury?
You ever feel like you were up against...
It's a lot for a kid to deal with. Having to... seeing your circumstances change and then... Oh no, my darling, no. It's not worth it. I mean, I know you tell yourselves now it is, but the temporary feeling of relief you get isn't worth it. These people didn't do anything to hurt you.
Just you and me.
I know, but that is a good way to survive, and that can always be the core of everything, but it's not a healthy way to live. They're lucky they're not doing serious prison time for how much damage they're doing, but he's taking out, you know, get a stain on the thing, the anger he'd like to take out on his dad, and at how his dad treats him. It was a dumb thing to do. I can see how it would have felt cathartic, but you're just hurting people that haven't done anything.
Me and Bo have been thinking that cat is gonna keep coming until we stop it. And it ain't no one
Ooh.
man or two man. Come on, get up. What the fuck are y'all waiting for?
I mean, I did just wake up. I maybe don't want to kill a creature.
We got a jag to kill.
Well, they have a jaguar to kill, that is true. Okay, so this episode was really interesting in the way that you saw the first hope for the boys, the first time that they, one of the first times, but the first major time they kind of all pulled together. I know 2 of them weren't there, but if they were there, it would have been the same. But they were making jokes. Everyone was laughing. Everyone was kind of just relaxing and just being silly, letting down their guards a little bit, because when you are with complete strangers, it can be hard to be goofy, to let like weirdness out, because you're like, what if they all judge me? And even like Kieran was doing it all the way through. Obviously, he used the term that is rooted in homophobia and that triggered something from their past in, he hasn't had an episode yet, I do not remember his name, I'm very sorry, in his other person from where he came from. And obviously the residual anger, and probably there have been times where Kieran has taunted him with homophobic things, intentionally or not, just in bullying him. I don't know what their past is and I want to, which brought the mood down a bit. And kind of they had that tentative moment where he'd been like, look, take the pills, I'll keep your secret. And then now he's like telling everybody and kind of hurling at him. Now no one was horrible about it, but they were just like, yeah, you know, you should have asked, because he should have asked. No one in this kind of environment should be looking out for themselves first. I mean, saying that, you should look out for yourself first in the sense of like, put your own mask on and then help others, but not in the sense of like, this is a communal storehouse, I'm going to take everything for myself. But it can also see why it is an embarrassing thing, and you're among a group of boys that you don't know and that you kind of get the vibe that none of them really like you very much, which is because he's obnoxious 89% of the time. And literally the 11% of the time that he was not obnoxious was when he did a Luigi impression and then pulled someone up a cliff. The rest of the time he's been a bit of a dick. I can see why he maybe wouldn't want to. Now I am so intrigued in what their life is like. For one thing, I really want to get to know more about Kieran. I want to see who he is. Is he truly this testosterone-filled, alpha male, patriarchal nightmare of a boy? Or is that more of a defense mechanism and is there more to him than that? Similarly, I want to know what this thing is, because clearly something happened to them and maybe it's what led to them being here. And Kieran views himself as the victim and the other guy as the one that did the wrong in that instant, which goes against the kind of paradigm of bully and victim that you'd otherwise think as like the trope. So I am really interested in seeing what's happening with them. Similarly, the brothers. It's weird because Seth, this episode, gave me the least amount of the ick vibe. Like, there was the least amount of my, like, there's something under the surface that just he's too nice. Which might be because he snapped and then, like, tried to drown his brother, so my brain is like, yeah, see, it's not too nice. Maybe that's why I was finally like, ah, yes, vindicated, he does have issues. He clearly has anger issues, and we learnt a lot more about their dynamic just in that awful, hurtful comment his brother did make of, your own mum didn't want to be with you, be your mother to you, which suggests that his mother has gone and made another family with somebody else and hasn't really been in Seth's life. Anybody treating their kid like that, I do not understand. You know, I'm dealing with a version of it with my father, but I am at least an adult. Just disgusting. So that does kind of, it can explain maybe why he's got anger issues, why he's got a lot of issues, especially if the parents kind of haven't done anything. And it could also potentially explain why his niceness seems a bit forced. Is he trying too hard? Is he trying, I mean, this is purely speculation, we haven't really got a deep dive into his episode yet, but is Seth kind of doing that thing of, I'm so helpful and nice and friendly, you won't leave me, will you, because I'm the best? Aren't I the best? I'm so helpful and kind and fun, because you know, then no one will leave me, right? Which could be a kind of response. I do want to delve more into him. And similarly, his brother, we don't know what happened with his father. Obviously, he feels resentment towards Seth coming in, towards Seth calling his mum, towards the whole situation. He went from being a Boy Scout to being very, very sort of, I mean, I don't know whether he's depressed, he seems a bit depressed, but being very emo, and those are very different. Now, it can just be growing up, your interests change, you go through different phases, but did something happen that spurred him on into being that way? And if so, I want to know about this. So I am really intrigued. Now, the most worrying thing is that clearly, I do believe in the moment when Seth came back to himself, he was like, fuck, I've just been drowning my brother. I don't think he was like, enjoyed that. But he truly lost control for that moment. He was not in control of himself. I don't know whether he blacked out or whether he just kind of loses himself to like an animalistic rage part of him. I'm not a psychologist. He fully was holding him underwater, and if he'd been a couple of seconds later and stepping out, he could be dead. That is very dangerous. In a fraught situation like this, when food's going to get more and more scarce, there are going to be things temper spray, people are going to end up losing their temper with each other and all sorts. Something terrible happened on day 15. I'm very confused about the timeline of the boys with the days and the episode numbers. I feel like the episode titles are wrong. But something happens, someone snaps, and it definitely seemed, you know, Raph had bloody knuckles, right? So like he'd been in some kind of a fight. I imagine on Seth's side, or did Seth just kind of lose it on all of them? Something is going to happen, and it seems like Seth is potentially very vulnerable. I don't know. He's either that or like a psychopath, but I think he's probably more vulnerable. I don't know. Now, obviously, him having an anger issue doesn't make it okay. No one, it's not okay in the slightest. It was almost weird that the time when they got the closest was the aftermath of that, of one brother wounding the other in the most hurtful thing he could possibly have said, and the other brother physically trying to murder the other. There's a lot of trauma here. Now, Bo and, oh my god, my CFS brain. I literally hate how I cannot remember names. It drives me insane. Brain fog, memory fog is the worst. I mean, it's not actually my worst symptom, but it's really irritating. Bo, and I literally know his name, because I was really proud of myself, because during the middle of the episode I was like, I know his name, I'm not going to forget it now. Their story is similarly a very sad one. Bo's in particular, growing up in that kind of household, I mean, you saw it from the beginning, even without having seen the bruise on his face in the flashback briefly in the first episode, the way he heard footsteps in the corridor and his whole body tensed, and he was terrified. No one should live like that in their own home. No child should grow up like that. Messes happen. It is natural. If it was done intentionally, ground them, or, you know, dock some pocket money or something, I don't know. If it was done unintentionally, maybe use it as more of a learning moment. There is never any excuse to threaten, intimidate, or physically hurt your child, obviously. Just the level of fear in that household of, I mean, I am a clumsy, messy person. Like I told in the middle of my story, at time I genuinely left the bath running, went to check something on my computer, and I think I was just scrolling Tumblr. I genuinely think I was not even doing anything that was particularly important. I think the first thing I was like, oh, I had to check that, and then I just got distracted, and the bath overran, and it leaked through the ceiling into our living room below, and we had to have someone to fix the ceiling, okay? Like, that is pretty much the worst thing I've ever done in terms of being forgetful and clumsy and stupid. And my mum wasn't even cross with me. Like, you know, she wasn't happy. I felt like shit, but she was like, yeah, accidents happen, and like we were able to laugh about. That is a normal response to have to something that is truly an accident. You can maybe kind of like lose the despair of you, but it breaks my heart for Bo and the world he lives in. And then you see how, oh, I'm so sorry that I can't remember his name. If I go here. Oh, it doesn't tell me his name. But if with him, that he had quite a comfortable middle class life, things were going well, he was normal, comfortable, happy, and then they lost everything and money got really tight, and I guess that is a stressful enough situation for the adults, and often in that kind of stress, adults don't hide the stress from the children feel it. He was able to feel the change in his circumstances so acutely, and to realise how miserable life is when you're poor, and how his parents are probably a lot less happy. We didn't see them, so obviously we don't know full details, but you know, they now live in a less nice part of town, they're struggling, and he is just desperate to make it, to make something of himself, and to not have to have that kind of worry. And it is so wrong that anybody is at such a it's so wrong that in civilized countries, I mean, I say civilized countries, I don't mean be elitist, like in Western countries which view themselves as like the model of civilization, like the greatest country in the world, or whatever America calls itself, but the UK is no different, that there are still people that struggle and live with that much struggle when we have billionaires existing in the world at the same time. Anyway, that's a whole other story, but it breaks my heart to kind of see how much that lesson has impacted, and how much that his family, when they lost their money, they fell apart, and how you can see that he would then have the view to the world of money is all that matters, money makes the world go round. Now, I do hate the saying, money doesn't buy happiness, because yes, it does. Money creates an environment for you to do the things that make you happy. Money removes stresses and oppresses situations. So these boys, both coming from a really kind of difficult start, made a dumb decision when they broke into their house. Now clearly, for Bo, it was right on the back of one of the times his father actually hurt him. And for other guy, I'm so mad at myself. I know his name. It's like Matty or Harry, or it's like 2 syllables, I think. Sort of having just made all that money and being like, yes, this is the start, to losing everything. It really was all fresh in his head. They just needed to let off some steam. No one in this world was looking out for them. No adults in this world were looking out for them. I guess it seems like maybe instead of prison time or juvie or whatever, they got this like retreat, which is hell. But it just kind of, when you see someone making a decision like that, you're like, I get in the moment, you're like, rage, I need to get this emotion out. But that was the stupidest thing you could have ever done, because now you're potentially going to like have a criminal record for the rest of your life, and that is all of your chances out the window. But no, evil Gretchen was on the scene. She was terrible as an investigator. I'm stressed in general. I'm stressed about all of the boys that we haven't seen being alive and well, because obviously we lost one of the girls that was there until the end, although I'm still holding out some kind of crazy hope that she's alive somehow. I know it's stupid, but we didn't see her body. We didn't see Gretchen being like, oh damn it, we lost Nora. You know, we genuinely didn't see anything like that. I feel like I still maintain that somehow she was extracted. I don't know. But the idea of leaving a predator like that near the boys' camp, something tells me Gretchen knew it was there and was like, perfect, the boys will fail. The girls didn't have any, I mean, okay, the shark scare, I suppose, was similar much later in the day, but in terms of their camp, they heard noise and howls, but nothing came close to them. And after the first night, they have presences on the island. Leah saw old Cake Boy. They should have tranquilized the animal and moved it on. You know, they should have done something to protect them, because they are children under their care, and I get they couldn't care less about that because they're abusing them in this kind of way, but that is so drastically different from anything the girls have had to be through. It's so much worse in that sense. Now the tree branch, that kind of thing is utterly horrifying. Like, if she hadn't got up, if they'd continued having polls about how people made their beds or not, and she hadn't stood up yet, she would be dead right now. That is utterly horrific. It's yet another reason why stranding children on an island is a bad idea, Gretchen. I thought it was interesting to see the way it shook different people up, you know. From Shelby, it made her want to be like, yes, I'm at your side, you will be safer forever because I'm here, and I'm just going to cover you in bubble wrap and nothing will ever go wrong. And then for Fatin, it was very much the, nope, okay, I'm going to make sure I know where everyone is, everything's okay, it's going to be great. For Dot, it was, I'm going to check the surroundings, I'm going to do a security check. Shelby and Tony continue to be the highlight of the show, in the sense that, like, they're just the brightest part of this show, because they're just, I feel myself being held back a little bit from just being really, really, really happy when they're together and they're happy, because I'm just like, something is going to go wrong. I don't necessarily mean between them, I just mean in general, they will not be allowed to be this happy in this environment for too much longer. Now, potentially we've seen the first start of that, because Shelby saw a boat or something and hesitated before she did anything to the fire, and the boat left. That is something she will carry with her, whether, I think at the end she was putting the logs on the fire to try and make it go, but she did not try to get help. She hesitated. And that is something that I've been thinking with Shelby, and that's what's been worrying me, is she's still underage and she's still a child. When she goes back to the real world, it will be back to her homophobic father. It will be back to that oppressive environment that she is finally free from, and she's finally feeling happy. You know, I truly do think she's happier now, weirdly, than she has been in a long time, since she was little and innocent. So her having that moment of hesitation makes total sense. It's a human response, but obviously it is the absolute worst thing you could do when you are with 6, 7 other people stranded on an island together and you don't light the signal fire. So she's going to be dealing with that, and potentially if the group find out she didn't do it, she saw a boat, it could all cause mayhem and chaos, and maybe, you know, Tony will be like, what, you just want to live here with me? I don't know, you know, like, it could potentially bring up the issue of what happens when we go home, because I do think, for all of them, I hope they'd stay together, but for their relationship, obviously they live in very different places, they have very different environments, and while I think that shouldn't matter, and they're not that far off the age where they can make it not matter, I think there is every chance. I definitely think Shelby is concerned about what happens when the real world comes calling again, and you know, she's faced with her parents telling her she's going to hell and that it's a sin and everything like that. Because I think she's a lot stronger than she's ever given herself credit for, and this has shown her that. But at the same time, it is very hard when those people you're having to stand up against are your parents. So I'm disappointed that she didn't instantly do the fire, but when I say I'm disappointed, I totally understand it. Her being the one to see it, you're like, yeah, Gretchen did that on purpose if it was her. So that could cause some kind of a rift, or make her start thinking what happens when we go home, and that could cause some kind of trouble in paradise, just because that is going to be a struggle they have to get through. And I personally think it should be a struggle where Shelby is like, fuck you to her father. I don't remember, I mean, her mother went along with it. Maybe her mother would be like, oh, I have a child that's gay, I now see sense, and it's not a sin, because some people do that. They're like, oh, it's a sin, oh wait, no it's not. But she could maybe, if she gets out, then her siblings can see that there is a path for their freedom as well one day. So I'm worried in general. She's the only one that I'm like, when they go back home, fuck, I'm stressed for them. Because obviously Fatin doesn't have the best home life right now, but I think it's not quite, it's more something that either, I mean, she'll have to deal with it, but it's not about the nature of who she is. It's just the situation she's in. Also this episode, Rachel and Leah's relationship, their friendship, is something that's really refreshing. It's yet another kind of like positive that's coming out of this. They were both at their absolute lowest together, and they pulled their way out together as well. Them coming up with the like musical instrument and doing the performance, that was one of the sweet moments. And it made me angry as it was happening, because I was like, this is going down as a highlight in Gretchen's fucking report. For Martha, Fatin really sensed that there was more than just an average like embarrassment about not having sex, or feeling like people are looking down on you for not having sex. That there was something more to Martha's reaction. And it made me suddenly wonder in this episode, could that have been why she was kind of cross that Tony was telling Shelby all of her personal details? Was she thinking, is she going to share things like that with Shelby? Because Tony knows. I don't think they've even ever discussed it. I don't think Martha's yet been able to discuss it. And it breaks my heart that she's going through this. But I love that Fatin was able to kind of acknowledge it, not pressure for any details, not push her to talk about it, but to just be like, something you can do that might help. I really do hope Martha is going to be able to begin to process and heal from everything that she went through. No child should have to go through what, no adult, no one should go through what she went through. And I just hope for her sake she's able to come through this time and to realise that she is stronger than any fucking bastard of a guy out there. And that she has a wonderful support of people around her. So yes, this was a fantastic episode as always. I'm so sorry I talk for so long after these episodes. If anyone does listen to it, hi, I hope you found it interesting. I love this show so much. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.